Here we go.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that, and welcome back to Chelsea news. Of course, there's a lot of Chelsea news at the moment. Chelsea apparently still want to get rid of a lot of players, despite the time is ticking down in the transfer window, and of course we play Liverpool in but days for our Premier League opener. A lot is going on. Are we done? Who is yet to leave? Whew. Well, Matt Law is here to guide us on the Telegraph, and we will find out what's going on today, including I'll give you my reaction to Nkunku's injury and everything like that. So thank you for joining me. I thank you for your continued support here on the channel on Football Therapy, and I welcome you to this piece of content. Right. So Matt Law, Chelsea correspondent for the Telegraph, has written about Chelsea's Christopher Nkunku ruled out till December. Oh man. The marquee signing. Just dreadful stuff. Chelsea have suffered a huge blow to their preparations with the season after new signing. And he's like the Galactico attacker, £52 million. Granted, £52 million is probably quite a good deal for the likes of Christopher Nkunku. He's performed very, very well. He scored 3 goals in pre-season. He played incredibly well in multiple positions in the striker role, the number 10 role, and indeed off the left-hand side in a 4-2-3-1 formation. You could imagine he'd probably be able to play on the right as well. So all 4 attacking positions he's played incredibly well. And I think probably the most salient point is how well he's combined with his fellow Chelsea players on the pitch. He's an incredible technician on the ball, and he's demonstrated that in pre-season, and he looks good to go. Or should I say, he did look good to go. So he's going to have surgery on his knee that is set to keep him out until December, and increase Pochettino's desire to add at least one more offensive player to his squad. Bearing in mind, we don't know what Chelsea's targets are this season, like what they are trying to aim for, but there will be a little voice inside, something inside so strong, that will think about how Arsenal did so well last season without Europe, how Newcastle did so well last season without Europe, how Chelsea, last time we didn't have Europe, won the Premier League when backed appropriately with a passionate, proven coach. I'm not saying Chelsea are planning on winning the Premier Leagues, but they probably would be open to all results, positive results. And this is a huge blow for the aforementioned reasons of Nkunku combining so well in the early stages. Of course, there's been pleasant surprises with like Ian Maatsen, who looks like he can play in the free behind the striker. But Nkunku looked like an absolute performer and indeed catalyst for his teammates. So this is a huge blow. The club has confirmed that Nkunku will require an operation, which took place Tuesday morning. So it happened this morning, and is understood that he'll be out for around 16 weeks, almost 4 months, until he can resume training. So that is just resuming training, and he could be out for like an extra 4 weeks before he's match fit and ready to play key Premier League games. This is freaking bad, dude. That means Nkunku is not expected to play for Chelsea until December, which provides Pochettino with a massive headache ahead of Sunday's Premier League kickoff against Liverpool. Well, it's not just Liverpool in this instance, it's the season, right? It's the season, because it sets the tone in the first half of the season. Nkunku suffered a knee injury in Chelsea's final pre-season game against Borussia Dortmund in Chicago. Yeah, it was on the pitch, that awful pitch, but I think it was a foul that did it. Maybe the pitch was a contributing factor, but these American friendlies, we don't have the best relationship with. We think about what could have been with Ruben Loftus-Cheek when he was just absolutely on flames under Maurizio Sarri, when he did his Achilles in a mid-season charity friendly in America that essentially didn't ruin his Chelsea career because he came back and did bits, but he looked like he was on an ascension that could have been profound and he never came back quite the same. Pochettino was already keen for Chelsea to sign at least one more attacking player this summer before Nkunku's setback was confirmed, with the club weighing up a number of attacking options. Of course, Palace's Michael Olise, whose younger brother Richard is with Chelsea, and he's been on Chelsea's radar, but the Frenchman is expected to miss the start of the season because he's undergoing surgery on a torn hamstring suffered in the under U21 European Championships. Well, they're all injured, mate. With Nkunku and defender Wesley Fofana already out. Another transfer target, Tyler Adams, is recovering from an injury. Oh, why is just everyone related to Chelsea injured, whether we've signed them or we're thinking of signing them? Didn't we sign Nkunku and he got an injury straight away? And like Malo Gusto did. Like, it's just we've got some juju, man. That is something that might encourage Chelsea to look elsewhere. Of course, it looks like we were looking at Kudus, but it looks like he's going to Brighton. Pochettino and the club have originally hoped for Nkunku may only miss the first couple of weeks of the new season, but further scans revealed the injury was far worse than first feared. A Chelsea statement says Nkunku has sustained a knee injury which will rule the forward out for an extended period. The 25-year-old has undergone an operation and will now begin a rehabilitation program with the club's medical department. Do we even trust the club's medical department at this point? I'm not so sure. Nkunku's injury will only add to what has already promised to be an extremely busy end of summer transfer window for Chelsea. With Pochettino, wait for this, so he still wants up to 4 new players. That's the subject matter of the previous upload on this channel, yesterday's video. Please do consider watching that. With 10 likely still to leave, which is an incredible amount of players still to leave. You'd imagine, I think Mia wants to come in. Is that you, Mia? Yeah, hello. You could imagine the 10 players leaving wouldn't just be sales, it would be the likes of loans as well. There's a lot of players. Other than lining up at least one more offensive player for the aforementioned reasons, Chelsea are aiming to sign 2 new midfielders, with Adams likely to arrive from Leeds. We spoke about that again yesterday. I quite like the deal. And the club are planning a new bid for Moises Caicedo, while at the same time considering alternative options, because Brighton are being very, very difficult with the Caicedo negotiations. That's just doing all our heads in, and we're not ruling out bidding for a striker. I think, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Breuer, but Jackson looks good, man. And had Nkunku not got injured, you'd be like with Jackson and Nkunku, number 9 options, no Europe. Thank you very much, no problems, but. Again, much like the Wesley Fofana injury that saw us end up signing Axel, this could prove to be the same situation with a forward. So you can tell me, Mia's just climbed into that green screen, that rolled up circular green screen. She jumps on the file cabinet and sleeps in there. It sometimes scares the crap out of me when she jumps out. So Chelsea have not necessarily given up on signing another striker. And of course we've reflected on Dusan Vlahovic and his his underwhelming stats. Again, we've spoken about that in previous uploads recently. Go check them out, but we will follow that story as it develops. You know what to do in the meantime. Pochettino wants a first team squad of no more than 25 players, which means signings will be offset by a huge cull of players. Chelsea is still looking to offload, and that is of course Romelu Lukaku, Juve or bust really, or maybe Saudi. He probably is keeping Saudi as a backup option. Hakim Ziyech. What's going on with Ziyech? Callum Hudson-Odoi. And shouldn't Callum Hudson-Odoi be at Fulham by now? Like, how is that stopped? You know? Malang Sarr. He should be able to get a Ligue 1 club. While bids will be considered for Trevoh Chalobah and Conor Gallagher and some young players. Well, Conor Gallagher can play the number 10 in a 4-2-3-1 in the absence of Christopher Nkunku. And although Conor Gallagher is pretty overhated as a player, there's still that sort of glamour drop off, isn't there, from Nkunku to Gallagher. Chelsea are close to finalising a new front of shirt sponsor, with a deal believed to be on the table with an unnamed company. Wow. So the sponsor's nearly done. Well, it has to be because we friggin' kick off in a few days. I mean, come on. I haven't actually bought the shirt yet. I should buy the shirt without a sponsor on because it is a lovely shirt. But then again, I got the training top coming, the Trivago white one. I think that arrives in a couple of days. I might just be happy with that for the season. We'll see. Well, again, I might just buy it with a sponsor, depending on who the sponsor is. Having seen a potential agreement with Paramount blocked by the Premier League, and of course we pulled out of the casino brand stake, Chelsea are close to clinching a deal for a company to take over free from the main sponsor. It's very it's not telling you much, but that we're closing in on a deal. It's unclear whether the new sponsor will be confirmed in times for Sunday's Premier League opener against Liverpool. It would be nice for Chelsea, I think, to play a game, especially such a high-profile game against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge, to play without a sponsor, to just have a lot of eyes on a high-profile game, to see this Chelsea kit without a main front of shirt sponsor. I think, to have a sponsor immediately. And, I think obviously the sponsors would be interested in getting the deal done before the first game of the season for such a high-profile game against Liverpool. They want their brand on the shirt for a game like that. They don't want to miss out on that. That'll be part of the negotiations. But for me as a fan that enjoys the aesthetic of the shirt without the sponsor on, I believe that would be cool to have all the eyes on it, on a high-profile game, because it's a great shirt, especially without sponsors for the moment. Chelsea's focus has been on securing the best deal possible rather than using the first game of the season as a deadline. Okay, so there you go. There's a bit of a insight on that. Chief Executive Officer Chris Jurassic was put in charge of landing a new sponsor and did not want to compromise on the quality of the deal to secure a deal quickly as possible. Well, that's good at least. Chelsea believe that doing so could set an unwanted benchmark for future sponsorship negotiations. That sounds pretty intelligent to me. But then again, Chelsea, Blueco, the Chelsea owners, are trying to bring in the best in class, as Liam Twomey of The Athletic once described it, for all elements, whether it's sporting directors, new medical team, certain coaches, and indeed business executives like Jurassic here. So don't, just accept any crappy deal or a good deal, but then again, one that you feel like may damage your negotiations in the future. Think long term. Build a multi-club model. Buy these young teenagers from South America. Think of tomorrow. Long-term planning. That's what will ultimately create security, safety, and hopefully success for Chelsea Football Club. Right? So, a lot's gone down. Obviously, Nkunku is a pretty friggin' terrible thing to happen. Terrible thing to happen. But ultimately, the show goes on. The intentions go on. We'll buy new players. The feel good factor remains in the Chelsea camp, which ultimately is the top priority. The team feel good together, they're happy with the coach, they're training well, they're incredibly fit, and the morale is high, and the relationships can blossom. Look, man, we came from 12th place mid-table in the Premier League, lower mid-table in the Premier League. We feel good again. We're frustrated there's no European football. We'll undoubtedly all be very frustrated and upset about the Nkunku injury, and that's a natural reaction to a pretty devastating piece of news. But ultimately, Chelsea is still in a good place. Maatsen looks great. He's not the sexiest inclusion, but he's a feel-good inclusion, as is Nico Jackson. Chelsea probably will buy another exciting forward. They'll all be coached by a very good coaching team. They will all have an entire week between Premier League games to demonstrate their potential and also how well they're developing as young players, because most of them are young players as well. There's a lot of exciting things to be happy about with Chelsea. We no longer have to gas up Reece James too much because Malo Gusto's in behind. Ben Chilwell looks fit and raring to go. Should we sign Moises Caicedo? We can have another video, a very different video, and talk about how good actually Chelsea now. They've got their main transfer target. So I'll be very interested in hearing what you guys think. Please do comment down below. I will read said comments. And yeah, man, thank you for your continued support. Do drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.